Mbogi ya madenge. Wewe? Mbogi ya madenge.
Hey! If you're wondering who it's who you think it is. It is exactly who you think it is. Karibu sana to Sharia Sharia. If you are just joining us, my name is Mariam Bishar and you're listening to 96.3 Nation FM. Of course, on the decks.
Yours truly, DJ E, aka Mr. Big Energy.
Yes, and of course, in studio we have with us, artist, performer, producer, all-round cool guy, chef, because I've seen your TikToks, food zako allegedly. Kagwe Mungai'S in studio with us.
What up?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy National Swahili Day.
Happy National Swahili
Leo
Day to you
tunaadhimisha siku ya Kiswahili.
Yeah, twenze.
We were doing na si mbogi ya madenge Kiswahili, we're doing Kiswahili sanifu. Let me tell you,
ni Swahili, sindio?
Ni Swahili, true.
Yeah.
But we had an expert earlier on, and she said, she said,
as in, sharing is just ours.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's ours to enjoy.
Yeah, it's
ours to enjoy.
Yeah.
But how would you rate your Kiswahili sanifu on a scale of like 1 to 10?
Oof. Like -4.
-4.
-4.
No, I get that. We were like even looking for translations of English words into Swahili.
Yeah.
A simple one like a document. How would you say document in Kiswahili?
Documenti.
Right, that's what I said. I was like,
that's also,
documenti. But ni hati.
Hati.
Imagine that.
Wow.
Imagine
H-A-T-I.
that. Yeah, H-A-T-I.
Hati. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
but we're trying to
Nipatilio yo hati.
Yeah.
Like, how does it even sound?
Yeah. Nipe hati. Yeah, give me my documents. Kind of makes sense. But we're so happy to have you in studio, Kagwe.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here with you guys. I also haven't been to the studio in a minute.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see you guys here.
No, we're happy to be here. Of course, to host you as well. You've been putting out lots of bangers. You've been putting out also even on TikTok, like, your production work. The sample game has been 10 out of 10. But let me start from the beginning, in the beginning, like the meme says. Tell me about your earlier music influences, because I know you grew up partly here, partly in other places in the world, Joburg and elsewhere.
Yeah.
How did that like influence the sound that we now hear from Kagwe?
Wow. I think all of it has, influenced me in one way or another, from like my older cousins who, put me onto like hip hop, and then, having lived in SA and just that entire house and Afro like house kind of culture.
Yeah.
To UG is a very big dance hall culture, so like earlier on in my career there was like a lot of dance hall, the Give It To Me's, the Creeper, that kind of thing, that was like influenced by like one of my first experiences working in like a music studio in Uganda.
Nice.
So
what were you doing in the studio? Producing?
I was just like watching.
Okay.
It was like it was those internship things.
Yes.
You're in the middle of school holidays, so I had to do an internship as part of like school, and as like a 15-16-year-old, they're not really letting you do much.
Yeah.
It's just like, go and get that. So it was honestly really impactful for me. I definitely loved the studio environment. I was working with some of the ladies from, what was that group called? The Coca-Cola pop stars. Remember when they did
Blue 3?
Is it? No.
Yeah.
Am I thinking of na 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 na? The Ugandan ones or Kenyan ones?
The Ugandan ones.
Oh,
at
Blue
the
3
time.
maybe?
I think Blue
3, yeah.
Blue 3 was Ugandan or Tanzania?
The Ugandan.
Yeah. So we did some music with those guys.
Yeah.
And a few years later went to uni, studied music there, came back to Nairobi, hit the ground running, and as they say, the rest is history.
The rest is history. What came first, Kagwe the producer or Kagwe the like recording and performing artist?
Okay, so I mean, initially, I feel like the thing that really just like jolted me, and the moment that I was like, this entertainment thing is for me, is like 8 Mile. I don't know if you guys remember the movie 8 Mile.
Eminem. He was spitting.
That thing came out, we were in school. Everybody at lunchtime would go to a corner. The boys were just there freestyling.
His palms are heavy. Knees.
I had my rhyme book. I used to put it in my pocket, And then I started writing all these raps, but I had no beats, right? So I was like, I need to learn how to make beats because I don't know anyone who makes beats.
Yeah.
So I started making beats and focusing less on the rap. And then now at this point, I had too many beats and not enough like singers and things like that. So like, okay, now I need to sing on the songs. And it was just like, I guess, I think a result of necessity.
Necessity, yeah. Mother of invention, right?
Exactly.
We'll get back into the music, but before we do that, I wanted to know what you have, what do you love about East African foreheads that you had to put it in a song, you know?
Stampia Urembo. Stampia Urembo. East African foreheads, the bigger the cranium, the sweeter the juice.
I was just like, thank you for acknowledging us, making us feel loved, making us feel heard. We'll come back and talk about a little bit more about the new music that you have out, and of course your plans, and of course the sampling work that you've been doing, because I feel like it's been, like I said, 10 out of 10. But now that we're going back into the mix with DJ E.
The country's leading music station, Nation FM.